All right, here we are. Week 3 of the 2021 NFL season. We have made it, ladies and gentlemen. The Buffalo Bills are 1-1 after I'd say, pretty decent performance last week to the tune of about 35-0. Biggest victory we've had over Miami in Miami since I think they said 1966 or 1967, somewhere along those lines. It was a pretty good game. Offense scored 5 touchdowns, hence the 35 score. But I got to give it to our defense. I definitely got to give it to the Buffalo Bills defense in that game. From the very first snap, a corner blitz for the nickel corner, Teron Johnson, going in there and sacking Tua. And then 2 plays later, multiple Buffalo Bills sacking him for 3 and out. Anyways, the past is the past. Right now, we're going to be talking about the future and what's to come in this week 3 battle that we have coming up with the Washingtons, the Washington no-names, the Washington what the fucks, whatever you want to call them. We're taking them on up in Orchard Park this week in about an hour and 33 minutes. So we're just going to talk a little bit about it. Also, I'll drop the link in the chat for anyone who would like to come up. And do that real quick. So I think we're going to do it. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to beat the Washingtons hands down. But I don't think it's going to necessarily be, a total easy dub as people have been trying to tell me it's going to be. No, I personally think it's going to be a scrum. It's going to be a battle, fight to the death, defensive showdown, that's for sure. Running the ball is going to be a lot harder this week. And wouldn't you know it, we had a lot of success last week when we decided to run the ball. 3 of our touchdowns were rushing touchdowns, 1 for 46 yards on the second play. And it's like, wow, see what happens when you run the ball. It's going to be a lot more difficult to do that this week. And I do believe that Josh Allen will be under some pressure. Our offensive line, even though all the starters on the offensive line have been with us for at least a couple of years now, for some reason, something seems off. I don't know exactly what it is. I can't put my finger on it. But if you look at film from last year, Josh Allen had like ample time in the world to just stand there in the pocket like a statue and just wait and find someone downfield. This year, maybe it's him. Maybe he's feeling a little less comfortable in the pocket, and therefore he's scrambling around. But he's been taken off a little bit more. Not taken off, but under pressure a little bit more and having to move around in the pocket compared to last year. This team's very reminiscent of the 2019 Bills, in my opinion. But so the defensive line for Washington is completely stacked, and their linebackers are pretty good as well. They got a rookie there playing middle linebacker, their first-round pick, Jamin Davis, whatever his name is. He seems pretty solid from what I saw last week on Thursday Night Football. Their secondary, I know, is probably their weak point of their defense. But, if Josh Allen's under some pressure, we're probably going to have to put Moss in there for some pass protection out of the backfield. Not Yeldon. Jesus. Breda. I don't know. He's a little bigger. And especially, I can already see it now. It's already flashing in my mind. I can already see it. We're going to be going 5 wide. We're going to be going spreading the D out. And we probably will end up passing um, like 75 to 80% of our offensive snaps this game. But, it's week to week. I was just watching the press conferences with Dayball and McDermott over the past week, and, they always preach the same thing, which is true. It's tried and true. Is every week is situational. It's not so clear cut as, oh yeah, this worked this week, so that means we're gonna keep doing that every single week. I suppose there are some teams out there who might have that approach, but this team's mindset is situational football from week to week to half to quarter to quarter to drive, switching it up. Or if it's working in the moment, someone's got the hot hand, keeping that going. But the man that I do worry about a little bit is Chase Young there. I feel like that's definitely a guy we got to keep our eyes on. And, oh, what are you doing over there? But that's someone we definitely got to keep our eyes on. As far as the defensive side of the ball, Heineke doesn't look too bad. And, of course, they do have some pretty decent running backs there, with McKissick coming out of the backfield as pretty much a wide receiver. And then Gibson also pretty good in the receiving game, as well as being very fast and very shifty. So, our run defense wasn't too solid last season, but this year is a complete 180 from what I've seen so far. We've been shutting the run down, and I speculate that has something to do with Star Lotulelei being back in the lineup, and I do believe that Star Lotulelei is going to miss this game, so that could have an effect on our run D. He is by far probably the biggest, meaning physically big-bodied interior defensive lineman that we have in rotation. And last week we had 8 guys rotating on the defensive line, keeping them fresh. It was nice to see Greg Rousseau just dominate out there. It was freaking awesome, as well as AJ Epinesa, 2 young guys tearing it up from the edges. That was awesome to see. So I think that Washington's probably going to try to run it against us, pretty much do the opposite of what we've been doing. But I could see Terry McLaurin having a pretty big day, maybe not even necessarily with the number of catches that he has, but the amount of yards that he gets after those catches. So I could easily see him putting up like a 4 or 5 catch game and getting just over 100 yards, 105, 107, 111, something like that. And we can't forget about the third factor of the game, special teams, which did play a big part in our win last week, with a muffed punt that we recovered in Miami territory, as well as some pretty good returns over the last couple weeks by Isaiah McKenzie on kick return and punt return. So I think that that's going to be crucial if we can keep that up. It seems like the blocking has been going really well for us on special teams, and McKenzie has a pretty good view of the open field. I like the way that he hits the holes. So I'm pretty confident in that aspect too. But like I said, this is going to be a scrum. I know I'm sounding very optimistic about all 3 phases, but that doesn't equal a domination, because I think Washington will be able to, hang with us. Maybe not. I don't necessarily think it's going to be an entire game back and forth type of dogfight, but I could totally see us maybe jumping out to a lead early on in the first half, and then them clawing their way back into the game, and even if they don't take the lead, closing in on our lead as the game is starting to wind down, and it coming down to us having to get that first down or get that crucial fourth down stop, because they will go for it. They'll probably end up with the ball last, go for it at the 2-minute warning, and like after the 2-minute warning, it'd be 4 down territory is what I'm saying, and they'll have to go for it on fourth down and get that turnover on defense. I predict Buffalo Bills win this one by a score of 27-20. That's right, you heard it here, 27-20. That's what I think the score of this outing is going to be. But with that being said, I'm going to get myself situated here, get myself set up. I do appreciate everybody for coming by. And yeah, go Bills.